Hi guys, just finishing a wonderful summer tomato. It's the end of summer here in Seattle, and yeah, just enjoying the weather. Hoping to do another video for you guys. Beautiful tomato. Um, I start my morning, kind of random, but I start my morning with being obsessive about grabbing an espresso every morning. It's just what I do. I don't love to start the day with the first thing that I do being um, answering an email or reading an email. I like having the first moments of the day to myself. And so this morning happened to be with a friend, grabbing an espresso, and before he arrived, I was listening to music, which is also something I enjoy doing in the morning. And yeah, I was reflecting on the previous product that we built, which we called Rose. And there's a photo right here below. And I kind of mentioned that in the video yesterday, actually, where before building Mind and before getting to this interface that we're building for you guys with Mind, we had spent a lot of time trying to create spaces that could help people center and help people sort of find a moment to disconnect, to unwind. And Rose was what we created. It was a super slick product. And music often reminds me of that, because music was at the center of how we enabled, the experience through this product. It's how we, allowed people to maybe enter a new space and be able to access some of these thoughts, these memories, these feelings. And so, yeah, today I'll do an entry on that experience. It reminded me of that. I wanted to write about it. And maybe afterwards I can talk a little bit about what that's like for me. So here we go. The video, I think, sometimes turns off, so just, follow along. Okay, so I just kind of finished it. You can pause the video to kind of read about it, and I'm gonna analyze the entry. I mean the TLDR. Well, I guess we'll see. The summary is gonna summarize for us. So I'll press analyze, and yeah, let's see what's on my mind. In the previous entry, I did something a little shorter. I think this is going on the longer side, and I think this is where you're gonna see it get a bit more powerful in the sense of the results that you get, especially in the summarization. When we have a lot on our mind, or there's a lot like that we're processing, we can get stuck in trying to hang on to every detail. And I think part of how we can navigate past complex thoughts is to try to start distilling things, try to start making them simpler, summarizing. I think that's part of what is exciting for us when we think about the summary. So I'll just read it to you. The writer's entry reflects on a regular routine of going to a coffee shop and sitting by the rocks outside to enjoy the sun and listening to music. The memory of a past project they created brings up both happy and sad emotions, and they recognize the lessons they learned from the experience. Emotions are nostalgia, joy, sadness, gratitude, appreciation. We've got some keywords around routine, coffee shop, music, product, emotions. I mean, it's just some like quick comments from reading that. It's making me actually think back to 3 or 4 years ago. I remember being frustrated that I didn't have a routine, and just being here able to see this entry is making me happy, because like I have created a routine for myself, and I have found out I always felt like others had routines and I never had one. I never understood routine. I've in fact told so many people that I don't like routine, and I think I'm just realizing that I may never have found what was my routine, but I have one now, and that makes me happy. Getting espresso in the morning is my thing, and it's just what it is. Some people go to the gym, some people read a book, some people do skincare, whatever it is. For me, it's just grabbing a nice cup of espresso with the crema on top. So that's just a nice moment I'm having right now. Some other things. So the keywords: music, major part of my life, emotions as well. And I think the last sentence of the summary there is interesting, because the memory of a past project they created brings up both happy and sad emotions, and they recognize the lessons they learned from that experience. And I think that's true, and I bet, I haven't even looked at the questions yet, but I bet some of them might talk about that. And I think people talk about it as failure, right? I think I like to think about it as like it just didn't work, and so in showing you how I use Mind, and the rest of the team hopefully will get to share their own versions as well. Like, I want to shed light on the moments and the ideas or the thoughts that Mind helps me process the most. And I think this is a good example of something that has, again, two polarities of emotions with some happy thoughts. Ultimately, it's one of the things that makes me the most proud about myself, is completing this project that we did. And for reasons that I'm not gonna dig into right now, it didn't pan out. And that is also part of the reality, right? And so in order to move on, I think it's very important to weigh both of those things, to weigh all the colors of the emotions that something might bring up. And I think Mind helps me do that, because it helps me come out of my body and come out of my thoughts, and then start kind of like participating in a process. And I think that that's one of the hardest things to do when we are trying to process things, is like, okay, how do I get engaged? And here, like, I'm feeling very engaged even as I talk to you guys. So I'll just go through some of the questions, keep it not too long. Again, I'm just trying to show you how we find value, how I find value in using Mind. So what were the most meaningful moments of creating the product? I think when I look back at creating Rose, which is the name we had given the product, that was like almost a 2-year effort. I think at the most there were up to 14, 15 people contributing to to the product, everything from designers, software engineers, sound designers, and looking back, being able to be a part of a team, I think is what was most meaningful to me. Sharing those experiences with people who wanted to create the best that they could with what they were good at. Was the part that I loved the most, and I still get to do that today on Mind. And with Rose, it was really special. We would have these construction meetings where we would go to the shop, all meet together, be all serious and stuff, trying to think about the progress that we had done. And really, we were just being kids, we were just having fun. And when I look back at what I want that moment to remind me of is that we're supposed to have fun. We're supposed to get out of our minds and enjoy the things that we do. And that was definitely present for us. I think I'm speaking on behalf of everyone else on the team, but I think there were so many fun moments in getting and creating this thing. Again, the image is right below you here. The intricacies of this experience, how people checked in, what people got to do inside, what it looked like inside. It was just an amazing experience. What emotions did you experience when you were sitting by the rocks? I actually felt overwhelmed. Music sometimes takes me there, creates a rush of emotion, it almost allows me to tap into that emotion and not be afraid of it. And there was this sense of relief, sadness. It was definitely emotional. I closed my eye and the sun was kind of like beaming, on my face. And yeah, it's difficult to know that right now, this product is in a storage unit and we don't really have clarity yet on whether or not there will be an evolution of this product or not. There's this sort of unknown around managing failure. Or again, as I reframed it, something that didn't work, right? If it had worked, I would be talking to you about all these versions of this products that we have, and we're not doing that right now. And so I'm fully accepting of that. But yeah, maybe it's a rush of emotions, or was a rush of emotions because it meant something to me. And in the difficult moments, even in the process of building Mind, I think a lot about Rose, and I think a lot about the products that came before that, which maybe one day we'll get to share, because they remind me that it's possible, that we did do it. That thing was real. People did come together and build this thing, and we did work through all the conflicts that needed to happen in order to get there. And that's incredibly empowering, because in difficult moments, there's no better evidence than your own to motivate you past the point where you are, which is that actually very likely you have been able to do many things in your life, that you have shown up how you want to show up in the past, and you can do it again. And I think that's where the reframing for me happens, around acknowledging that it didn't work, but it was a gift that it didn't work, because now I get to borrow from that energy anytime that I have doubt, anytime that things are going a little slower. And so that's a really special experience for me. What do you appreciate about the experience of creating the product? I think for me, you're going to hear me say this a lot, but I think it's about bringing people together. And one of the humbling experiences that I've had, building, again, Mind, Rose, the unit before that was it was a shipping container, and before that it was cabins, is that I'm not better than anyone at anything. In fact, categorically, if I look at who's on the team, I am worse than everybody by any measure of their speciality. And what I appreciate the most about the experience of creating product, it's identifying who's good at what and creating an environment where you can feed oxygen to that fire. And I think one thing I believe in life is that everybody has that fire. Everybody has something. It's not always work related. It's not always based on some form of achievement, but there's something that drives you. And I love being in an environment where people can display that without having to hide that part of themselves. And in doing so, acknowledge that that's what they're going to be amazing at, and supporting them in developing that skill set, creating more ideas from that place. And on the opposite side of that, learning how to then lean onto the person next to them, next to me, because that person's going to be better at you than you at something else. And I think that's true magic. I think there's something magical about not having to do it all, not having to have all the answers. There's this moment of vulnerability, I think, in allowing yourself to recognize that someone else is better suited to do the job, and then finding the courage to say that and allowing that person to shine. Because in a team, it's the sum that counts. It's not your individual achievement. And that's certainly something that we try to cultivate here at B612 with building Mind and Rose. And I think that's probably the thing I appreciate the most about building product. It's about trusting and not expecting outcomes right away, but taking the time to uncover the layers of what somebody's really passionate about. And then once you find that, fucking accelerating them and just giving them a chance to shine. Yeah, that's what I appreciate the most. Again, we're out here trying to show you how we use Mind, and in doing so, we're also learning about what it's like to talk about it, and that's giving us a ton of ideas. And I think in future videos, I hope to share, some things about personal life too, and I hope to share some of the ideas that we're having around this product and where it's going next. Again, we're building a beta here coming up soon, and we're really excited to get that out to you soon, and I hope it'll improve some of this experience already that we're doing on the demo. So if you're enjoying this, wow, I can't believe I'm going to say this, but subscribe, like. You can try the demo for free. The link is in the description. You can also sign up for our waitlist on the beta. Let us know what you think. We know it's not perfect yet, and so try it out. And if there's a way for you to share, what it allows you to process or work through, we'd love to hear that. We'd love to hear how we can make that better. And I think for today, that's going to be it. So thanks for watching, and just hope that you find value in what we're building. So signing out, and I'll see you again soon. Ciao.